The man who narrowly escaped death was once a Jewish prince, betrayed by the brother he grew up with. His family was destroyed, and he was separated from his wife. He was accused of inciting rebellion and became a Roman slave. On the way to the port, feeling utterly betrayed and hopeless, he found the courage to live on when a stranger offered him a bowl of water. This stranger ultimately changed the course of his life. When Judah was brought to the Roman warship, the sight before him was overwhelming. Witnessing a frail slave being killed on the spot, Judah had no choice but to submit to his fate, placing his trembling hands on the oar. Messala, praised for his act of loyalty to Rome, was admired by the governor and quickly rose through the ranks. Messala, a Roman, was adopted by the Ben-Hur family and grew up with Judah as inseparable brothers. One day, Messala and Judah were racing horses, both unwilling to concede defeat. Judah maintained the lead, but Messala overtook him at a turn. However, Judah quickly regained his position ahead of Messala. As they approached the finish line, Judah's horse stumbled over a stone, causing an accident. Although Judah finished first, he was severely injured in the process. Messala carried Judah back to the palace. Judah's mother was very anxious when she saw her injured son. She looked at Messala and blamed him in her words. Messala sat on the steps, waiting for Judah to regain consciousness. When Judah finally awoke, Messala smiled with relief. Soon, a celebration was held in the palace, and the two joyfully danced together. However, Messala fell in love with Judah's sister, Tirzah, and faced opposition from Judah's mother.
What's wrong with you? It's supposed to be a celebration.
It's a celebration of your faith, not mine.
Oh, that's the virtue of wine. It doesn't discriminate. So what happened with you and Tirzah?
Your mother doesn't want us speaking.
And who cares what mother wants?
Your mother cares. What am I supposed to do with them? You and your family are royalty.
You and Tiz together would be like what? Like we were family. We're not family. Are we? Are we? I'm just a lowly orphan your family took in.
Finally, he refused Judah's request to stay, and left the castle in anger and rushed to the battlefield. After joining the Roman legion, Messala distinguished himself with his bravery and was eventually recognized by a general. 3 years later, Messala returned to Jerusalem as the new governor. The two, having not seen each other for years, embraced with excitement. Messala informed Judah that Pilate planned to lead the legion through Jerusalem, but Zealots were launching attacks. He tried to resolve the matter peacefully, but it didn't work, so he had no choice but to use the power of the legion to stop the rebellion. After reuniting with his old friend, Messala realized they stood on opposing political sides. Judah expressed his disinterest in politics, desiring only peace. Messala hoped Judah would assist him, as Judah, being a prince, was familiar with his people. Messala stated that his only wish was for Pontius Pilate to pass through Jerusalem without incident. He then gifted Judah a sword.
It'll give me nothing but joy to know it was in your hands and lay forever idle.
When Messala returned to the palace of his former life, he saw his old lover gazing at him with deep affection, which softened his battle-hardened heart. Messala hoped Judah would join him in enjoying the glory and pride of their rule. However, Judah refused to betray his people, causing a rift in their brotherly bond. The next day, countless Roman soldiers appeared on the streets of Jerusalem. It was because the Roman governor, Pilate, was visiting for an inspection. As Pilate passed by Judah's palace, a Jewish zealot aimed an arrow at him. Fortunately, Messala reacted quickly, and the arrow struck a nearby soldier instead. An enraged Pilate immediately ordered the capture of the assailant, commanding that they be killed on sight. Numerous Roman soldiers rushed towards Judah's palace. Inside, Judah had apprehended the zealot, who was the same young zealot he had previously saved. Before the incident, Judah had seen that the boy's wounds had healed and urged him to leave soon. Little did he know the boy would seize this opportunity to attack Pilate. As the soldiers stormed in, Judah chose to let the boy escape. Roman soldiers quickly took control of Judah and his family. At that moment, Messala's appearance gave Judah's family a glimmer of hope. However, Messala ignored them and went straight to the attic. When Judah saw the bow in Messala's hand, he confessed to the act. Seeing his former family wrongfully accused, Messala not only failed to help but ordered that they all be condemned. Ultimately, for the sake of glory, he chose to abandon the family that had raised him. After being sentenced, Judah was sent to serve as a galley slave on a Roman warship. His mother and sister were also imprisoned, and he lost contact with them. Judah felt bewildered when he first arrived on the warship. Seeing slaves being dragged out of the cabin like garbage, he finally understood the dire situation he was in. On board, slaves endured inhumane treatment, and few survived a year. However, Judah's hatred fueled him to endure for 5 years. The harsh life did not break him. Instead, it filled his eyes with determination. He realized that only by outliving the Romans would he have a chance at survival. Soon, an opportunity arose. The sound of war drums echoed as the slaves quickly chained themselves to the ship, their lives now tied to it. The Romans were launching a naval battle against the Greeks, with several Roman warships heading towards the Greek fleet. Judah's ship received orders to ram the enemy vessel. Watching the fierce battle outside, Judah felt uneasy. Soon, their ship was about to collide with the enemy, and all crew and slaves braced for impact. With the sound of splintering wood, the two ships crashed together. The massive impact threw the front row slaves off balance. Desperate to escape, the slaves frantically rowed the ship backward. Meanwhile, Greek archers on the flanks fired flaming arrows at the ship. The slaves and guards around Judah were struck down by arrows. In a desperate bid for survival, Judah commanded the remaining slaves to row the ship backward frantically. Just when they thought they had escaped the battlefield, a warship carrying Roman soldiers rammed into Judah's vessel. The impact caused the ship to capsize rapidly, dragging countless slaves into the sea due to their shackles. Judah was pulled underwater along with them. Struggling to the surface for a breath, he was immediately dragged back down by the weight of the bodies below. In the sea, he pulled desperately at the chains on his feet and finally surfaced again. Looking around, he saw that all the Roman warships had been sunk by the Greek fleet. Fortunately, a large piece of sail provided Judah with a lifeline. After drifting for a long time, he finally spotted land. Using the last of his strength, Judah crawled onto the shore and collapsed. When he woke up again, he found himself in a stable. It turned out that he was rescued by a horse racing merchant Ildrim. Upon learning that Ildrim intended to send him to a military camp, Judah quickly asserted that Ildrim needed his help. Judah promised Ildrim that he could heal his sick horse, asking only that Ildrim help him find his family in return. Seeing the horse lying ill on the ground, Ildrim agreed to let Judah stay. Upon learning of Judah's background, Ildrim felt compassion for him. Seeing that Judah was about the same age as his own son, Ildrim decided to help him seek revenge. After learning that his enemy is the horse racing champion Messala, Ildrim decides to help Judah. To secure Judah a spot in the race, Ildrim paid 3,000 gold coins to Pilate for an entry. He then proposed a condition: if his racer won, Messala must absolve Judah of all charges and grant him freedom. If he lost, Ildrim would pay 6 times the wager. The high stakes made Pilate readily agree. Afterward, Judah trained tirelessly in chariot racing, honing his skills to perfection. Driven by the desire for revenge, he was eager to compete. The day of the race finally arrived. With his hair cut short, Judah appeared on the racetrack. This was destined to be a battle of life and death, where all the love and hatred between him and Messala would be settled. As Pilate dropped the handkerchief, the race officially began. Several teams charged into the Roman arena, with Messala, the hero in the hearts of the Romans, taking the lead. The other racers followed closely, striving to catch up. Participating in the race for the first time, Judah struggled with the dusty conditions of the track. On the first turn, his chariot scraped against the wall, nearly making him the first to exit the race. With experienced advice from Ildrim, he controlled his chariot's speed, staying in the last position. Messala, far ahead, became the target of all the other teams. He took advantage of a turn to wreck another racer's chariot. In a flash, the third lap ended, and Messala maintained his lead. Soon, another racer pulled alongside him, but Messala used his chariot's wheel hub to damage the opponent's chariot. Meanwhile, Judah, at the back, faced an attack from two racers but easily evaded them. Messala still held a significant lead. Thanks to Ildermess' advice, Judah remained in the middle of the pack, avoiding any incidents. The competition for first place was fierce. During a turn, Messala once again rammed an opponent's chariot, causing a loose horse to block Judah's path. Judah swerved to avoid it, causing the racer on his right to crash into the wall. At this point, the entire Roman arena was left with only Judah and Messala. The race had reached its final lap, and Judah's chance for revenge hinged on these last moments. The crowd roared Judah's name. Judah urged his horses to catch up with Messala, and the two raced side by side, locked in fierce competition. Debris on the track caused Judah to fall from his chariot, but he clung to the reins, refusing to let go. Just when everyone thought the outcome was decided, Judah recalled his time rowing as a slave. Miraculously, he climbed back onto the chariot and continued racing, drawing cheers from the entire crowd. Seeing this, Messala desperately tried to ram Judah's chariot with his wheel hub, launching a frenzied attack in hopes of defeating Judah. As he was about to deliver a final blow, Messala hesitated. At that moment, the wheels of their chariots suddenly separated, and Messala's chariot was destroyed. Judah crossed the finish line, ending their race. Judah won his freedom and toppled Messala from his pedestal as a hero. The Jews in the audience shouted Judah's name. They ran towards Judah and lifted him up into the air. In that moment, he became a hero in the hearts of the Jewish people.